It's the TV loud. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it at 9, so we're good. I see we're on now. So, mm. How's the hopper look? Yeah. So I. Yes.
That would have been hella embarrassing to do this whole pod when you can't even hear me. Do this whole pod when you can't even hear me. Yep, alright, we are all set. Here we go. Sorry for a little bit of the delay. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Here we go. Okay, we sound good. Yo, what it do, GG Nation, GG Legion, it's your fella again, Straussman the GG. Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Golden God and Friends podcast. Episode 4 billion. No, episode 48. Halo Infinite delayed. Interesting topics. Xbox dominated week. So we're going to talk about a lot of Xbox stuff on this podcast today. And I didn't lie. We didn't have to wait 2 weeks this time, or a month. We got you back-to-back pods. Good enough stuff. We'll be back this whole weekend streaming on Twitch. I'm 3 trophies away on Far Cry 3 for the plat. So right after this podcast, you'll probably see me streaming on Twitch to finish that up, because it should only take about 3 to 5 missions to finish that and have a new shiny plat to the collection. Then we could say goodbye to Far Cry 3. And then we'll probably start working on Uncharted 4. But this weekend, we're going to try to play more of the Avengers beta, but this time with Lou, because it is free for everybody to go play, whether you're on Steam, PS4, or Xbox One. Go download it ASAP. Go play it. Go have fun with it. I saw that it was like around 100K views earlier today. So very popular still. Go play it. Go give it a shot. This is free. You get to experience the story a little bit. You get to experience a little bit. It's a great sample size, and we're gonna have some fun this weekend with 4 players this time. Hopefully, me, JJ, Seth, his 10-year-old, and Lou. Skip to my Lou here. But stay tuned for that. Appreciate all the love on Twitch and YouTube. If you're new to this channel or my Twitch channel, follow the link down below. Sub if you're new. It's gonna be a real fun pod today. So let me introduce my guest today. As usual, you skipped right into all of your hearts. Skip to my Lou. What up, Lou? How you doing?
What's going on?
All right, some interesting topics to talk about today, man. Very quiet week. Oh, DC fandom is not tomorrow. It is next Saturday. So that's where the announcement of the Suicide Squad game and the Batman Court of Owls game should be announced too. So I'll do live reactions to that, so stay tuned. I know it's been a real light week on YouTube here, video-wise. I apologize. Been grinding a little more on Twitch and doing streams. But usually I fill in with some double duty and have streams on here, but I got a little lazy this week. I apologize. But hey, we're back at it. We're back on the grind. But a very dominant Microsoft week this week. They started off the week with their Microsoft Series S control. Actually, this controller can be played on any Xbox. This is what's really cool. It's on their whole ecosystem. Essentially, it looks the same as this original Xbox One controller, except it has a share button. Which is the new thing for Xbox. But the big news about that is it kind of confirmed the Series S, because it says works with Series S and Series X, which is the high-powered end. We know about the Series S for a while. What'd you think of this leaked photo? And it legit is. I think it is the real. It's for sure the real product. It's the box and everything. Like, I think it was stolen off a truck or something. I don't know the full story. Fill me in down below. But what do you think about this, Lou?
I'm kind of a little bit disappointed. For one reason, it's still gonna have batteries. So
it's
that's
so
what it looks like.
Interesting about that, because all the other consoles don't, right?
Yeah. So I don't understand it. The first thing I looked at when I looked at the article, because it had the photo of, I think it was the manual and the back of the box, and I saw that this still had the cover for batteries, and I just rolled my eyes. Because that's a pain to go get batteries. I still don't understand why they haven't had controllers with built-in batteries. The share button is
new.
It
was pretty bad on 360 for sure, because they died really quick.
Yeah, they did.
What up, Shannon? What up, Savage? How you doing? Doing a podcast, Savage. Go ahead, Lou. Continue.
But yeah, it's just like, for me, when I looked at it, I was like, it's not really that different. It's the same generic one. I really was hoping for the built-in battery controller, but hey, I guess I can't get everything I want. So I wonder what the reason is behind that.
Yeah,
that we still have to use batteries.
Are you Savage? Are you picking on my boy Lou? You said this isn't JJ. This definitely is not JJ. It's Lou, for sure. You'd see JJ. You wouldn't see the picture of the Fiend. But welcome, everybody. Enjoy our pod. We're talking about Microsoft Series X technically being confirmed. The controller was essentially, I think, stolen off a truck, or it fell off a truck, a shipping container, something like that. It is real. The photos, it's legit the box. We're talking about batteries. I want to give one shout out to their batteries, though. 360, they died a lot, all the time. I went through batteries like fucking crazy. Excuse my language. We curse a lot on this podcast. But the Xbox One, I mean, there's times where I haven't played in like 6 to 8 months on my Xbox, and I go back and I'll have full battery. So it does not drain batteries. So that is the one benefit to the Xbox Series X and the or Xbox One as well. It is still a little odd because of how PS4 or Sony, I should say, and Nintendo, they have internal batteries where you don't have to buy batteries. But you can have issues with those. To kind of play devil's advocate, Lou, I know you're a little disappointed in that. I kind of am too. I find it really odd. I find it kind of strange that they kind of do this still. Everybody can hear me, right? I'm getting cameras. I'm getting That they kind of do this still? Okay. Everybody can hear me, right? That was just so weird that my mic was acting up like that. But hey, it's a very strange saying in the world of 2020. There's not very many things that use batteries besides your remote, your TV remote. I I can't really think of anything else. Everything's kind of have a eternal battery nowadays. It's kind of strange, but I don't know if they have. Do they have like a deal with Duracell or something? Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. That'd be funny if they
so.
had like some sort of clause or deal with Duracell, or Duracell's like, hey, if you want our sponsorship, you got to effing put batteries in the controller. I don't know what the case is. It is very interesting, but the bigger news about it is a Series S being confirmed. Let's get to the big story that's probably going to take up most of this pod because we're going to add a lot to it. And this was the big news. This came out of left field on a Tuesday morning. Actually, Tuesday afternoon, because I'm going to give Lou all the credit in the world because I checked what I always check, NeoGAF, GameFAQs, anything. There was no news story, IGN. There was no news story when I checked around 12 or 1 or something like that. And Lou broke it to the group chat that we're in, and he texted everybody. And I was like, whoa, that was big time big time out of nowhere moment, because even despite what the negative feedback of Halo Infinite, and I did a separate video because it was so big to do it. It was such a big story, I had to do it by myself as well. But to have this, Microsoft flagship game, synonymous with your console to be delayed, we give Lou all the credit in the world for this because he broke the story to us here at GG and Friends, and I was like, damn, was not expecting this. Before we dive into the nitty gritty and minutia of it, Lou, what was your initial reaction before you sent that article to us? Or tweet? Or whatever.
Disappointing. I guess it would be disappointing for the Xbox fans. I was getting a PS5 day one anyway, but I know that some of them really looked forward to it. Some didn't. They didn't like the graphics, and they were thinking of, they were disappointed of the graphics, but at least they were going to get a game. Yeah. But now it's just disappointing for them. You're going to have a console launch. It's not going to be very much exclusives. This was the exclusive they were banking on. It's just a complete disappointment for their fans. Xbox is spaghettis everywhere. So that's the way that I look at it. It was just, you kind of laugh a little bit because it's kind of like we talked about this on the last pod, right? Yeah. Like how long are we giving Xbox, to do this rebuild? And right now the rebuild is not going too well in my eyes. Mm-hmm. So with everything that's going on, and I feel like that they rushed Halo. That's why the graphics looked like the way they did. And now it definitely needed this delay. And who knows when it's coming out? I mean, if it comes out a year after the launch, yeah. That's not good.
That's a good point, because everybody's naturally assuming 2021 is only going to be a 3-month delay. We don't actually effing know the date. There has been no date set in stone. It could come out November of 2021, all we know, right?
Yeah, it could.
Lou makes a lot of valid points there. I think that is the appropriate word to say. It is disappointing. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it is really disappointing. They were really championing this as their flagship title. We haven't had a Halo launched with the Xbox since Halo 1. Really think about that. There has never been another Halo launched with an Xbox, new Xbox console on launch date since the first one. So it was going to be a real special moment, whether you guys like the look. As you guys know, I thought it looked fine, but then after rewatching it didn't look good. It looked pretty bad. It's tough. I give the thing I want to say. I'm gonna give 343 and Microsoft Studios a lot of credit for delaying it, because even with all the hate and the stuff that was going on, there's also the COVID. It's hard to really make games and do things right now. I'm gonna give them a lot of credit for delaying it, because I still thought it was coming out. despite all the backlash and the mixed reception, and I think mixed reception is putting it nicely. I know some of you liked it. Shout out to Gaming My Whole Life. He commented and he said, I really digged what Halo was looking like. So, shout out to you, brother. Thank you. Another YouTuber here on on the platform. We got to show love to each other, not how big and small each channel may be. But shout out to him as well. It is. I got to commend him a little bit for delaying it. I mean, that is huge. It is a bummer at the end of the day. It does suck. It is bummer. Is it the end of the world for Microsoft? A lot of people are going to say yes, but no, I don't. It's not. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They got a lot of stuff going on.
$1 trillion.
Trillion dollar. I should say that. It is $1 trillion. We found out. Yeah, it's like $1 trillion corporation. They make a lot of great tablets. A lot of, they own Windows. They do a lot of great stuff.
Microsoft can fall over themselves for the next 10 years and they'll be okay. It's just the way that it is. But, I mean, it's just how long before you lose their gamers' trust.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think you're going to with that. I think the hardcore is going to be there day one. I think they're waiting for people like you or me, because we are going to get one eventually, but we're not going to get one day one. We already cemented ourselves on that. Was Halo going to be the one that swayed you? And originally it was going to sway you, Lou. Until I broke the news to you guys way back when. I mean, probably like 9 months ago, that they are not going to have pretty much they're pretty much are not going to have an exclusive for about 2 years. Like a true exclusive for Xbox One in 2 years. Or Xbox Series X, sorry.
And that's disappointing.
Yeah.
That was disappointing for me.
Yeah, so. I know you were really excited and you were going to buy a box because of Halo, right? But now... your plan has shifted. Was this going to sway you anyway if it still came out? Or are you going to still hold off?
No, my whole problem is that the 2 years of exclusive, there was not going to be any games for 2 years on the new console. That was my biggest problem and why I said, no, I'm not going to get the new Xbox. Because, my Slim could do it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't need to upgrade. I could save the money.
Yeah.
I don't need to waste the money right now. I can get it later. I can get it when maybe there's a sale, on Black Friday in 2 years, and let the games build up more and more, and I could get it for cheaper. But yeah, to me, that was the thing that really changed my mind, was when you said that there was not going to be any exclusive titles for that system for 2 years. And that in itself is very disappointing to me. Like I said, Xbox is spaghetti's everywhere with a lot of things. So
I feel you. That I hear what you're saying, but this is kind of the route they were going in anyway. This is kind of the route they were going in anyway, essentially with their console, their platform. They want to put it on everything. They want to put it on your phone, your PC, the whole line of Xboxes, because Series implies there's going to be more, and we just talked about Series S is probably real. Most likely, it's been leaked. We knew it for a while anyway. It's going to be really interesting. How people really, it seems like people are coming to terms with it a little bit. The hardcore is not gonna. I really thought Sony had an advantage anyway, despite what their launch lineup might be anyway, which I think is still going to be pretty good. I know a lot of people are debating whether Spider-Man Miles Morales is like a true quote-unquote game or it's a half game and yada yada yada. But if it launches with a PS5, I think that's going to sell like hotcakes. I think that already sways a lot of people already. I think a lot of people are already war-leaning PS5 despite the price. We're going to get into the price a little bit here anyway. But I just want to talk about is the delay. Is this a product of, because it looked really interesting. I mean, this game's been baking in the oven for a while. There's been some news that 343 might have had some turmoil for a little while, and they might have there's a lot of conflicting reports that the studio's not super healthy. So is that a product of COVID? People complaining about how the reception being mixed, of the reveal at the Xbox Gaming Showcase? Is it a product of what's going on at the studio? Is it a product of putting this game on, 80 different things, like 80 other devices it wants to put it on? Because you got to make the game look good on everything. You can't make the game look, great on just one thing, right? They want to make it look great on everything, but technically how you have to do that is usually you got to lower it down a little bit, render it down a little bit before you could put it on everything synonymous. And this is why Sony's always had the advantage with their titles, because they only legit really have to put their title on one console. And that's, their flagship console. The Horizons, the Spider-Mans, the God of Wars. Despite them, the Personas, yada, yada, yada. But it doesn't matter if they come out on PC 3 to 5 years later. It's made all its money on PS4, but they've shown the power. The Ghost of Tsushima looks effing fantastic. And, I had that meme that I sent to the group, the group about Craig, which they dubbed the brutes in Halo, how he looked. But is it a product of everything, Lou, or is it a specific problem of what's going on in the studio? What do you think? Is it all of the above? Is it everything? You got to put it on everything? Yada, yada,
yada? No, because the night before the showcase, the Microsoft reveal of Halo, they literally posted that Halo was going to be shown. So they had a plan that it was going to come out, and I think it was just a backlash thing.
Okay, so you really think it's because of the mixed reception?
Yes, I do think that it's the backlash, and I think that they're using that other stuff as an excuse, which again, it needs to work. It does. You can, when you look at it, it needs to work. It would have been passable if it came out with the system.
You're right. Like, this can't fail, right? This Halo can't be another Halo 5, right?
Yes. This is their marquee title. This is, when you think of Xbox, you think of Halo. So, this and the way that it was perceived is pretty bad. So,
Lou's on mute for a second, guys. Give him 1 second. His dad walked in, I think.
Yeah, but hold on.
Somebody hit a home run. But Lou is saying he thinks it's a product. I think some of that reception is true. I think some of it, people really, because I don't think they thought it was going to be that bad. I don't think they thought when they were going to show this Halo, this was going to be big for them. I don't think they thought Halo, they were going to get such a bad reception for it. But the reason being, I think there is because what you said earlier. It's their flagship title. That's why it's disappointing. Halo means something to a lot of people. It still really means a lot to a lot of people. It is fading with me, and it's kind of scary because I loved Halo. I played Halo since Halo 1. I remember buying original Xbox just for that game. I remember when I first played it. My buddy Andrew, shout out to Drew, he brought over his Xbox, original Xbox. God, these names, conventions. The original Xbox, the OG Xbox. He brought it over, and I played Halo, and I was like, holy, like, it changed first-person shooters for me. It was amazing. It was so awesome. It changed it for a lot of people. Then Xbox Live came into place. It was very dominant in 360. Halo 2, Halo 3 were very synonymous with that. It was really, really well done. Bungie and Microsoft did a fantastic job with the original Halo series. And we said it on various pods before. 343 and the Coalition, the Gear Studio, they're kind of living on the sake of living, because of legacy of these titles. Not maybe able to flex their creative muscles as much. And this is another benefit to Sony, a lot of the Sony studios. Like, how many chances have Sony taken with everything? Like, despite what you think of Last of Us Part 2, they took huge chances with that game. They took a huge chance of Sucker Punch not doing an Infamous game again. They took a huge chance of Guerrilla Studios not doing a Killzone again, And they hired Insomniac before they scooped them up to do Spider-Man for them. You know, that was a huge chance because there was a bajillion Spider-Man games. We had so many. Why is yours so different? And I tell you why. It's because the story's so damn good. That was why. That's the difference with Sony and the power right now, is that the story. And Microsoft is trying. I think they're trying really hard to capture that, but I think you hit the nail on the head on a lot of stuff. I think it's really tough. I do think part of the reception is why it was delayed a little bit. I mean, I'm sure COVID maybe has. I mean, it's hard to make games and stuff, but they stood firm that the Xbox Series X is coming out in November. Halo has a lot of memories for people, and that's why it was really disappointing, especially to me as a big Halo fan. I didn't like I know a lot of people still like Halo 4. I didn't really like Halo 4. I think Halo 4 is pretty overrated, to be honest with you, story-wise. And I always thought the Prometheans were hella boring, and you can tell they listened to all that. There's no Prometheans in here so far. It's all Brutes and Covenant and stuff like that. They're trying to go back to their glory days. Halo 3 look. They're going semi-open world. I know a lot of you are not a fan of that either. I think that's pretty cool. I think that could be really well done, especially if it's done really well with the Xbox One. It's just a big bummer, man. It's a big story. It's a huge story. It's not going to be there. What's going to be the flagship title? Maybe Forza, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah. Or some of the games that they showed at the end of the showcase before Fable. What was the 3 that could be exclusives? Is it the Medium or something? What was the 3 titles that we talked about?
That we liked, or
that we liked.
The 3 big ones that they're showcasing.
Well, Fable's not coming out. Fable's not coming out.
Yeah, there's some terrible news about that game too.
Oh no!
What did we talk about last week? That concept trailers don't do it for me anymore. I'm tired of that. They didn't even hire a frickin' writer yet for Fable or a game director.
Jeez.
And it lines up to what Lou. I know we're harping on Xbox. I don't want to make it seem like we hate Xbox. I like Microsoft a lot. They're a great company. Phil has really turned that console around, the original Xbox One. Yes, did they get stomped into the mud and then got surpassed really quick by the Switch? Yeah, they did. But they did it to themselves a lot with all the DRM nonsense and how they were going to launch this console. And just imagine everyone accepted that. I think a lot of people overlooked that. It's not just a price thing, because I keep bringing price up because we're going to talk about it. But a lot of people, it was the more expensive console, but it was weaker. And people didn't like that either. So, but I think we live in a different age in 2020. Sony has really built up an amazing catalog of games that people are excited for. God of War 2, Spider-Man 2, Horizon 2. We're probably going to see a Ghost 2. We're still going to do a Ghost of Tsushima spoiler cast and stuff like that. That's down the line. It's just a bummer at the end of the day. Fable was the big one. Medium I really liked. Lou just mentioned. Lou liked Avowed, which was the guys that did Fallout New Vegas. They got Obsidian.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's going to be like their version of Elder Scrolls. That was the vibe I got anyway. But they had a lot of concept trailers, and we talked about the Rare game last week, right? They don't know how that game's going to be yet. It's like, and it kind of, like, I hate to just roll my eyes and just take a big sigh, but, Sony ruined it for me forever, man, with 2016 when they showed God of War, because that's all I expected from God of War, was a concept trailer, and, alright, we're okay, we have to wait a little while for it, but they fucking played it! They fucking played it day one. They played it right on stage, and they opened the show with it and flexed their muscles. For me, I gotta see gameplay. It was cool to watch these concept trailers when I was a little kid because my imagination could take off and just be like, oh wow, like that game's gonna be like that. And it wasn't until much later in life I realized, damn, like the concept trailer never really hit its mark. Like you never really, like the game would come out, and I'm like, damn, this is like not how the game was previewed at all or whatever. But I understand why they did it, because it's the best way the game can look conceptually, visually, yada yada yada. It's just a really tough thing, man. And then Fable, like you said, they end off with a teaser, And then this comes out that they don't even have like a director or a writer yet. Like, what the hell? Like, it just goes to Lou's point. How many years are we going to give them? I think most people are going to give them like 3 years. I think before.
I just think that right now they're just dropping the spaghetti everywhere with like everything.
Yeah.
The systems, and I tried to explain to someone today that there's 2 new consoles coming out, and then he got real confused with the X, with the latest one that came out. So that made me think, like, if you don't know what's going on and you're going to the store and you say, I want the newest Xbox, and they're gonna be like,
yeah, which one? Pick the 3.
Yeah.
Do you want an Xbox One?
Yeah.
You want a Series X or a Series S? Yeah, it is going to be confusing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a valid point too, Lou. Very interesting choice. What you can make up for the S, and it's not, the S and the X are very different. The S is a very much weaker console than the X. The X is the product numero uno. It's the one with the most boss sauce. It has the most power, right? And that's the difference between the PS5. What's the difference between the 2 PS5s? A disc drive. That's it.
Yeah.
Literally the same thing. It's just a disc drive. That's it.
That's the thing, though, is that if you go like I know what the difference is between a Series X and a Series S.
Yeah.
But somebody that goes there, I'm gonna get this because it's $100 cheaper.
Yeah, the mom that was going to, Christmas shop for the kids, like
right.
The grandma
right.
that's gonna get stuff for the kids, right? They're gonna be hella confused, man. That was the biggest problem with the Wii U. People are like, what the hell is that? Every day I heard that question at said place.
They just make it. It just seems that it's.
What's up, Joel?
It's complicated. I don't know why it's complicated. I mean, it's not complicated to me, but they make it seem complicated. A lot of this stuff. To the casual gamer,
I mean, you're right. Yeah. You're 100% right. It's going to be some problem. I mean, it's really interesting. I'm interested. Again, this isn't the end of the world for Microsoft. I think, like Lou, I don't want to speak for him, but just talking to him and getting the vibe that he was probably expecting a lot better from. I think a lot of us thought Microsoft was going to bring it, but generally console launches aren't great. There's usually not very many great games, and I really thought Sony was going to really bring it too, but we don't know yet. We don't really know. Like, Spider-Man is good enough. Like, Miles Morales will sell a shit ton of consoles. That'd be fine if they have nothing else. But I'm really looking forward to Pathless. I know a lot of you don't give a shit about Godfall. I do. I want to play Godfall. Probably gonna get some third-party NBA. I'm definitely getting, and I'm probably getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla because it's much different. They're kind of taking the Ghost of Tsushima, Breath of the Wild approach of you kind of just discover the world as you go.
Yeah.
So there's a lot for me. I'm good enough for launch. I don't need things, but we're gonna talk about another thing. Lou broke some news to me yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to talk and I want to reel this in about the Xbox One launch or Xbox Series X launch. I'm sorry. That's gonna be tough, but the one thing they're really hedging on is price, and I think that's noble and that's great, but I don't think there's going to be that much of a difference. And I'll give you all the credit in the world. If you wanted Sony to really end this, tell our audience what you told me of how Sony to end this right now.
Oh, if they wanted to end it, Sony would just do $399 and $399 for digital console and a regular console.
Yeah,
it would be brilliant. It would be over.
Effing move. The thing is, these things are hella expensive. These things have a lot of pretty new tech. 2013, the tech that the PS4 and the original Xbox One were using was old already. A lot of people forget that. I'm not a tech guy, not a tech wizard, but it wasn't the high-end spec stuff at all. It was still very low-end specs, where this is different. They're using a lot of new tech. Both companies are putting the best they can. It's going to cost a lot of money to make. But both companies are willing to take a loss, and Lou had a brilliant idea. I mean, if Sony really wanted to just end it right now, I don't think they even... I don't think people are too concerned who are buying PS5. I think PS5 is still going to be majority leader. I think people still really want that console. You go to Twitter, GameFAQs, NeoGaf, most people talk about a PS5. They don't talk about an Xbox Series X. And most people use their Switch as like the side piece, the side gaming. They don't use it as their main console usually for the Switch. And Switch is obviously taken off with quarantine and stuff like that. But I don't think it's going to be interesting what line Sony toes with this, but it would be a really bold choice and a brilliant move on Lou's part. And I'm gonna give him all the credit in the world if both of them are $3.99, because I was stuck in my head that they're gonna charge you $50 for a disc drive, and I know that bugged a lot of people because $450 sounds weird as hell.
And that's a $100 difference.
I don't think in this day and age, I don't think that really matters. And essentially, it probably cost them that much to make the disc drive, probably like $50. So that's why I was thinking side piece. Joel. But it's interesting, but it's true. Most people don't own a Switch by themselves. They have they have either, it's usually a PS4 or a PC or something. But it's really interesting what line they're going to toe for price here. Again, going to give Lou a lot of credit for that. I don't know if they're going to do that. I'm still thinking they're not going to go 500 though. And I don't think a lot of people, there was a poll today on NeoGaf. A lot of people think the Series X is going to be 500 and the Series S is going to be $299, 300. Again, the difference between those two is the power differential. They don't have the same parts in them. They're a lot weaker. The difference between the two PS5s, a disc drive, that's it. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
They're the same thing otherwise. There's no other difference. So it's still technically one SKU, sort of. They're going to use two SKUs, obviously. But you're just going to have to pick what PS5 you want. The digital one, which is a great move. A lot of people really love digital. Like a lot of people, JJ and I game share on all three consoles. And
mostly the younger generation likes the digital.
Yes.
I've noticed. There are some people that
really still like the physical. And then you can see all the fucking ginormous games behind me. All the collector's editions and shit. So but I bought a lot of digital games this last couple of years because JJ and I game share a lot, it's your turn to get Ghosts. Okay, it's my turn to get something, And, I bought Avengers, and I'm going to buy 2K. And then JJ's buying Crash and Golf and something else. He was going to buy something. I forgot what the other thing was. WWE Brawlers or something. That one?
WWE Battlegrounds.
2K, thank you.
2K Battlegrounds or something.
All right, to keep it on topic a little bit here. Was there anything else you wanted to say about price, Lou? What do you think is going to fall with Xbox and stuff like that? How's it going to affect the launch, you think?
I mean, it would depend on what Sony does. I think Sony has the greatest opportunity in the world to really get a big advantage over Xbox.
Do you fall in line, though, in the sense, do you think price is that big of a deal in 2020? Because it's much different than 2013. 2013, $500 was equivalent, I think, of like $700 today or something.
I think right now, for some people, yes. Just because of the whole virus situation. So, if you think about it, there are people that are, that are working in this, and they really don't get the excuses to not pay their stuff, so they still have to keep going. Life still goes on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think those people are probably the ones that would be affected. If the virus was not a factor, I don't think so. If anything, people spend thousands of dollars on iPhones and Galaxies every year. Every year. So if you're complaining about a $5.99 price tag for one system you're going to keep for 3 years, I mean, come on. That's like...
Well, you're going to keep for 6 years, really.
Well, it depends. I'm going with the average lifespan.
Oh, you
It's
think
about
it's
3 years.
gonna be? You think they're gonna end at like 5 years, like in the old days?
No, no. I mean, like, the
Or
average
are they gonna do
system
another
lasts for.
mid-gen console? Are you thinking another mid-gen console?
I don't know. It would
Yeah,
depend. It would depend. But I'm just saying though, is that
gotcha.
I mean, people spend thousands of dollars. I mean, Apple Watches are $500 now,
Yeah,
four five
yeah.
hundred, and and people trade them in year after year
I
to
want to
basically
point this
get the
out.
same.
This was all my idea. He stole it from me.
No, he did mention that. He did mention that a
I'm
long
just
time ago.
teasing you.
You're right. No, you're right. You did mention that, and at first
I'm with you though. I do understand. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think price is an overreaction to a small part of the community. A lot of people, a lot of you guys are smart, including Lou and JJ and many others. Put their stimulus checks away. They've got 500 sitting right there. A lot of people are waiting just to put that pre-order down and be done with it. A lot of people, like in Lou's case, he's been saving for a long time now. He's had money set aside for a long time for PS5. There's a lot of people that have done that. A lot of people have done that and put money aside. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But my gut's telling me I don't think they're going over 500. I don't think either console is going over 500. And if they're really going to undercut each other, it's not going to be more than $50, I think. Because of the technology in both consoles. They got to make some money.
But do you really think it's that big of a deal, though? Like, if it's $599, I mean, it's not 2000. What was it, 6?
No, I don't think so. I don't really. I'm with you. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But my gut is just telling me. And Sony's smart, and Microsoft is smart. They listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
They listen to NeoGAF, GameFAQs, Reset Era, all these forums. They know. They know what people are thinking and looking to spend. And then they're thinking about the UPT, unit per transaction, if you guys don't know what that means. That means the extra controller, and then the extra video games, and the headset, and, the charging station. That's all the other stuff they want to tack on with your game. They don't just want to sell you a console by itself. Right? And when are people, just from my experience of working at said place for many, many years, people are prone to buy at a console launch. If you have quality content, if you have great games, and you got other controllers and other stuff to do, people will buy.
Might as well moment is what they call it. Might as well.
Yeah,
you might as well if you're gonna.
People will spend $1,500 easy that night.
Yep. Might as well.
Yeah. Just to have some games. Even just to try out some games. But they have to be good quality games. They can't be like Bomberman with the Nintendo Switch. I couldn't give fucking Bomberman away. The only thing I could sell was Breath of the Wild. Nobody wanted anything else. So, but like I said, console launches are normally very weak. But I think Sony's going to have a pretty good lineup. And then Microsoft, I think they're going to try to hedge with Game Pass. My guess is they're going to bundle with a Microsoft, with a Series X or a Series S, 3 months of Game Pass and Live. That's going to be my guess. They're going to bundle that in already. So you get your quote-unquote thousands of games. So, right? I think they're going to have a deal right off the rip. Might as well get people in your community or invest, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea on their part. They need to do something for full launch, for their hardcores. So, again, I'm not trying to, continuously beat on Xbox. But a lot of the stuff that they...
He literally... The Xbox... I'm going to picture this, chat. Square ring. Steel cage. And Lou just repeatedly jumps. 450 splash on the Xbox. 450 splash. Over and over. The steel chair. Steel chair to the head. Stop it! I'm trying to pull him off. And he won't. He just pushes me. I'm scared.
I'm just saying what I think. Alright? And Xbox and spaghetti's all over the place. I can't pick it up. Alright? I can't pick it up. Alright?
Joel's a big Xbox guy. He's saying quality over quantity. That's true, but you don't think the PS5 is going to be a quality console? Like, it's going to be very much a quality. People are going to be really invested in it. Like, Microsoft, in a lot of ways, did this to themselves. And I hate to say it that way, you know. Sony, I remember back in the PS3 days, all the way back to the said place of 2006. I know, it's old, it's over, right? All you kids think that's hella old. But a lot of people laughed at Sony. They bought a lot of game studios, and people are like, why the hell are you investing in game studios? And people are like, why the hell did you buy Naughty Dog, right? They just made Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter, right? That turned out to be the best acquisition they ever done. You know, right? So,
yeah.
People laughed at that, and they bet on their video games and doing narrative, story-driven games, and it has won. It has dominated. Almost too much, where I think they need to mix it up a little bit. Get some more JRPGs in there and stuff. Which they are. Third party's doing good. They have Persona. They have Final Fantasy. I would like to see one from themselves. All right, let's talk about the next topic. Because we talked a while about Microsoft. Let's talk about this interesting. A lot of people were really pissed off about this. Lou sent this to the group chat, but I knew about this for a while. I just forgot to put it on the pod. Control Ultimate Edition. You have to buy Control Ultimate Edition to get smart delivery and a free upgrade to PS5 as well. So the owners of, like, people that own Control right now, we're kind of stuck. We do not get a free upgrade to PS5 or Xbox Series X. It's a very interesting dynamic. A lot of people were really pissed off at Remedy and 505 Games. Remedy, the studio, 505, the publisher. I think some of this, I'm going to flip the coin a little bit, because I think some of this has to do with Phil Spencer a few months ago saying Control is going to be on Game Pass, and the sales just plummeted. Just, whoa! Like, because people were waiting on Game Pass. That turned out to not be true. It was not coming to Game Pass. You know, Remedy tweeted they didn't like that. You know, maybe Phil got told bad information. Maybe the deal fell through. Something like that. But I still think the day one hardcore that bought Control, man, not to offer $10 to $20 free, not free upgrade, $10 to $20 upgrade. I think it's really odd for the people that really want to play that Alan Wake expansion. People that really want to get in. Lou and I are most likely going to wait till Control 2 anyway. But This has been a big story. It's all over Twitter and the forums. People were really pissed off about this. What was your initial reaction, Lou, when you sent it?
When I looked at it, I just felt that it was a shot at Xbox and Phil for saying that. I mean, that's the way that I perceived it. It was that their sales were not good for.
Well, it'd be a bigger
people
shot.
waiting.
Do you think it'd be a real shot to Xbox if it was like a free upgrade to PS5?
Yeah, but that would be going a little too far.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
You still want to have good business relations with them right now. Who knows if they're ever going to be bought by PlayStation.
I think Remedy's on the tail. Not tail, sorry. On the table.
Yeah, but
waiting to
you
be
don't
bought
want...
by Sony. It just hasn't happened yet.
Because this is a good way for...
We saw the documents of Sony buying 2 studios, and we don't even know the other studio yet. One of them was Insomniac, but we don't know. Is it Kojima? Is it Remedy? They haven't announced anything.
I mean, you don't want to ruin your relations with them, but then again, you don't want to be bullied into Game Pass because you still want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, this is a way of letting those gamers know it is not coming to Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So when you let them know that it's not coming to Game Pass with this Ultimate Edition, plus you're doing all the extra content that's coming, with it. The 2 expansions.
But this is
more.
This is more has to do not with it's smart. It's the free upgrade that people are upset about. That they're not getting. Like the hardcore that bought this game day one. It's their game of the year, which a lot of us were on the pod. Were like, no, it's we could see why we wouldn't put it up for a game of the year. I did enjoy the game. We all platinumed the game. We all played it a lot.
Well, PlayStation is the only one that's their fans are suffering from this. Because to me, I took this as a shot to Xbox and Phil. So they're the ones that are suffering because there's no $10 free upgrade or anything like that for the original people. But then again, I guess they want to make sure that the expansions sell. I don't know. I'm puzzled by that, but to me, it was just a shot at them and Phil. So I'm puzzled by why the original copies will not get a $10 free upgrade for PS5 or Xbox.
I think it has something to do a little bit with that control, like what Phil's saying. Like they have to make some. It's probably not really coming from Remedy. It's probably more towards 505 Games, the publisher. They probably got a lot of pressure. Like, hey, you didn't fucking make enough money. And we want more. We want more money. We lost a lot of money, so we need to charge. I still think it's really tough to tell people that already bought the game, or ready for the expansions and stuff on PS5, because the game kind of struggles on Xbox One and PS4 a little bit. Like, for the most part, it's smooth, but like the pause menu is kind of jank a little bit. Like it has a weird
when you enter
stutter.
new areas. We enter new areas, it like glitches for a second. I've noticed
like
that.
Pops in, right? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's very true as well. So I mean, very interesting concept. Lou and I are probably gonna wait on Control 2. It is very odd. I don't want to say it's anti-consumer. I just think it is a little odd. I wonder if there's gonna be any pressure because of this reception that they're gonna break and be like, okay, we're gonna offer this and that. Do you think that's
maybe
a possibility,
later?
Lou?
Maybe later after the expansion comes out.
Okay.
So, I think the expansion is coming out later this month, right? Or early September.
Yeah, and Alan Wake is going to be part of it, which a lot of people were very excited about. That was a big time Microsoft exclusive. A lot of people don't realize. I never played Alan Wake. I heard nothing but great things about it. It's just one of those games that I wasn't like hella interested in it because it didn't seem that scary to me. It didn't seem like a true horror experience. It seemed like semi-horror. And that's kind of like Control 2, because Control kind of has like semi-horror elements because of like the alien talking to you in your head and shit like that, and the hiss. But it doesn't go full horror. It's just like half-step.
I just feel it's a form to make money because you're selling this bundle copy. And
it's true.
And then maybe a year from now, you say, okay, for $10 you upgrade your original, Control for a year from now. So it's a way to extend the lifespan of the game.
Also, I want to point this out. This is not something new at all. How many Game of the Year editions do you always get? You always get it. Whether the game gets a Game of the Year or not, they always have a Game of the Year edition. The Arkham trilogy, the yada yada yada, where everything's all bundled together. Like they've done this forever. Elder Scrolls, the End of Time. They've done this forever. I think a lot of people thought it would die down a little bit because of backwards compatibility, and we're getting Cyberpunk for free, a free upgrade. Avengers is getting a free upgrade. If you bought the PS4 version, you get a free upgrade to PS5 already. Which is pretty cool. I mean, some of the more high-profile games this year are already doing it. Most games are doing it. 2K's not doing it in terms of you got to do a special edition version. You got to buy the Mamba Forever edition to get both versions of the game. I don't know if the EA titles are doing it. I don't know if that is a thing that's going down. Fill me in down below. Let's move on to Lou's favorite game.
I just want to say one thing real quick with the 2K being $70 for next gen.
No, Silencio! Go ahead, you can go.
just one thing real quick. If you're gonna buy VC to upgrade your My Player, don't be stupid.
This is important. Yes, listen to Lou.
If you're gonna buy VC for your My Player, don't be stupid and spend $70 and then $50. You go out there and buy the Mamba Forever edition, and then you download the current gen version. You log in, you get your 100,000 VC, and then you get the free next gen version, and you get another 100,000 VC once you log in next gen. So you get 200,000 VC. To max out a guy last year was like 190,000 VC, and
Yeah.
people were spending like $50.
Yeah.
So
They
the,
bought the
so,
$100 version and spent like an extra 50. Yeah.
yeah, so don't be stupid and go out there and spend that extra, give 2K an extra $20.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to get that in there. So go ahead, let's move on.
Let's talk about your favorite game getting an update. Last
Which,
of Us Part 2 getting an update, I think this month, or is it next month? Getting grounded
I think
mode
they did
and
it
a
already.
permadeath mode as well.
Yeah,
I think they're adding some more camera effects to photo mode as well. More filters and things you can do. A lot of you guys, I've seen what you guys done on Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm hella impressed at some of the photos you took at Ghost of Tsushima. You know, I
Yeah.
just took a shitty photo for the trophy. That's you know, but some of you, the artwork and some of the perspective and the angles and the beauty that you guys capture in a photo, it's pretty amazing. Same thing with God of War and Horizon and Spider-Man. So many photos you guys have taken. It's very, very interesting that they're going to add some more stuff. The Last of Us Part 2 grounded mode. Also a separate permadeath mode as well, which is really interesting. I'm interested to see if this brings a lot of people back to play it. Game sold really well initially. It has died off quickly in terms of sales. I expect the sales to spike again if it potentially wins Game of the Year, which a lot of people still think it's a lock too. I still think it's probably going to win Game of the Year. Very interesting. What do you think? I know you're not going to ever play this game anytime soon, Lou, but what do you think of finally grounded mode and some of these other modes coming into Last of Us?
I think it's good for the people that really like the game and then want to play the game again and give them a different experience, what have you. Yeah, I think it's good for those people. I think it's good for people that haven't tried it.
Yeah.
And might like what's going on, and they feel. Some people said it was easy, right? If they played it on hard, they felt that it was easier
some people
than
did.
the original
some people
game.
did say that. Yeah.
So maybe Grounded will give you a challenge. I assume they're not going to have that sensibility like they did in the first game for Grounded. So
yeah,
yeah, and the limited supplies and etc. So yeah, I think if you're looking for a challenge and you liked what was going on with the story, and you go back and play the game again.
Yeah, if you even haven't platinum it yet, it's not a very hard plat. This is the perfect time to go back and get a plat.
Well, if you're a completionist, 100%. Some people are not satisfied with just the platinum; they want to see 100%.
It's very true.
So,
our buddy Prandy's that way, 100%.
Yes, it irks me a little bit, but you know what? That's him,
what makes them good, though. That's what makes some of those peeps good. That they really like to see that 1-0-0 completion. Really well said, Lou. Shout out to Lou. Shout out to Prandy. This is big. Lou's probably not going to know much of this. I'm just going to talk about it really briefly as possible. But this is huge for Capcom fighting games in general. Yoshinori Ono is leaving Capcom after, I think, like 30 years of working there. He's done... he's been executive producer of the fighting games, or the head of fighting games for like 10 years this decade. He's ever since, I think, Street Fighter 4. He's had a lot of power. He didn't do Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but he did Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and stuff like that. He is leaving on his own terms. Essentially, in Japanese, you work till you die a lot, and they don't really fire you. They just keep demoting you, and he kind of got demoted the last couple of times. There's been a lot of rumors that Street Fighter 6 is in a huge delay. It was supposed to be announced already. They wanted to announce it, but they couldn't because it wasn't ready to go. So maybe New Life and New Blood will bring Marvel vs. Capcom back, Darkstalkers back. I think Ono was a great face. He was the Harada of Street Fighter. A lot of people recognized him. All the big announcements he did a great job for the most part. Some things didn't work out. Street Fighter V was a little rushed. PlayStation exclusive as well. It didn't have the story mode at the beginning of the game. A lot of characters feel too similar or too it's a lot better now than it was. They're doing this last final Street Fighter V, but essentially, he quit on his own terms. Like in Japanese, you work till you die, they demote you, they keep demoting you. Essentially, you have to seppuku yourself, which is like the samurai way of killing yourself. So in a way, he had to let it go. Maybe he gets picked up by Sony, Microsoft, something like that. I don't think he'll be out of work that long. I think this is also great for Capcom fighting games in general in terms of a breath of fresh air. Going to have a lot of passionate people work on it. And I'm not saying Ono wasn't. I think he was. He was a great face. But maybe some of the decisions in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite wasn't right. The character look might look a lot better in the next games coming forward. They're getting cool characters like fan favorites like Dan Rose. They're getting Akira from Rival Schools, which we haven't seen in 25 years or something, that are going to be in this game. It's pretty cool to see. Street Fighter 6 is going to be on the back burner. Hopefully we see Darkstalkers. Hopefully we see a Marvel vs. Capcom. Shout out to Ono. I don't think he's going to be out of work long. But very interesting story. Big story if you're a big fighting game fan. Very interesting. I got it all mostly from Maximilian Dude. Shout out to him and his Twitch and YouTube channel. Street Fighter amazing. Joel just said Street Fighter V is amazing now. They're doing one final season. They have fixed a lot. When I first bought it, the collector's edition day one, it was pretty bare bones. But now they have a lot. They kind of catered, I think, too much to the pro circuit a little bit. Obviously, the Capcom Cup is huge. The biggest fighting game tournament every year. Next to EVO, obviously, EVO's the biggest. I'm sorry. Don't kill me in the comments for that. But it's its own separate thing. They usually do it They usually have a PlayStation exclusive content as well. So they've had a great relationship with Sony. Infinite didn't turn out what a lot of people want it to be. It had a lot of characters from the MCU, obviously. Marvel wants MCU characters, Black Widow and Winter Soldier and stuff. But a lot of people want Venom. The X-Men and stuff that are, not in the game. People want some of the OG Marvel vs. Capcom. I think we'll start seeing that. I think they'll start catering to the crowd more now that Ono's gone. But shout out to Ono. He gave many awesome years to Capcom fighting games. There were kind of in a lull of fighting games. I don't think there's been a single fighting game announced for next gen. So it's kind of crazy. So hopefully we start rolling those in. I love fighting games. I love all video games. Fighting games are some of my favorites as well. But I've been pretty effing behind in the fighting games besides Mortal Kombat 11 and Injustice and stuff like that. The NetherRealm games I've been playing a lot. But, the BlazBlues and the Undernight Reapers and the Guilty Gear, the Soul Calibur, the DBZ Fighters. There's so many things. I'm so behind on a lot of fighting games. I want to pick those up and do a Saturday Night Showdown eventually for you guys. But hey, shout out to Ono. We'll move on to the next story. This is a big one. This is what Lou was... I don't know who this particular gentleman is. It's Benji somebody. But there's some
Benji Sales.
Benji Sales, you said?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know how big he is. They said something in an article. They credited him for knowing a couple of things, but again, it's just you take it with a grain of salt type of situation.
Yes, always take every rumor and all the rumors we talk about with a grain of salt. But we always like to have fun and talk about it on the pod. But this is an interesting one. He said there has been a secret game reveal for PS5. I think a launch game too, right? Possibly?
Yes.
Secret launch game reveal game that has not been revealed yet because we don't know. The only thing we know is Miles Morales, Pathless, Godfall, and maybe a few others are going to be launch titles. Gran Turismo, Ratchet, Sackboy have not been announced for launch titles. I was assuming Gran Turismo would be there day one, but I guess not. But this is not one of those. It's not one of those. What I'm trying to stress. He didn't give any hints or details. He just said he couldn't talk about it. But he said there was one big game reveal. And I just want to have fun in the channel, and I want to ask my panel and you guys, what do you guys think it's going to be? I'm going to start with Lou. What do you think? What do you want it to be anyway? Like just pie in the sky bullshit.
Knack 3. No.
Oh my God! All right, podcast over.
No.
Podcast over.
No. So we're talking about this yesterday, right?
Yeah.
What if it's Twisted Metal? Because of the pops.
So
those pops that were going around.
Story. Lou makes out that Sony has a bunch of exclusive Funkos, unfortunately, at said place, that are exclusive to said place, but all of them are current gen games: Death Stranding, Last of Us Part 2, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Ratchet and Clank. But one of them is a big outlier, and it's Sweet Tooth in his ice cream truck. So is there going to be a Twisted Metal? That's a big one to say, Lou. That would be effing amazing.
Another one.
Lou and I have been talking about this for a while now. We want to see Twisted Metal come back so bad.
There's another one that I want to mention, but I want to see if you mention it first. But right now I'm going with Twisted Metal. Alright, so the other game that I think...
I'm shocked you did not mention this, if I'm thinking right. But I want to hear it first. Go ahead.
It's been rumored for a while. And it was supposedly leaked a while ago.
Yes.
But what about Sly Cooper?
That's what I thought you were going to say. Sly 5.
Yeah.
Pie in the sky. Oh, dude, that would be incredible. Sly 4 ended with a big cliffhanger for Sly 5.
Yeah.
But that was what, back in 2013, 14?
They skipped a whole generation.
They skipped a whole generation. Joel said Bloody Roar 5. Don't you damn get my freaking hopes up, Joel. I would cry, I think, if Bloody Roar 5 came back. But that's cool. That's a cool one to say, Joel. Like, I hope that happens. For me, my pie in the sky, I'm going to have to go with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think that would be... I think the name is dumb. The fighting style is very interesting. You basically fight till you get your super and you kill. I think you need to get rid of that and just go with Smash Brothers. Just copy Smash Brothers. Who gives a F at this point? Just copy Smash Brothers. You know,
yeah.
You built a great, fantastic roster this last generation. You can get Aloy, you can get Jin from Ghost of Tsushima. You can have Joel and Ellie. You can have Nathan Drake. You can have Parappa the Rapper. You can have Sly Cooper. You can get those rights for Cloud from Final Fantasy VII now. You can get actual Dante from Devil May Cry, not the other Dante from DMC. You can get Cap from Gravity Rush. You can get Joker from Persona. You built up a great library now. Sweet Tooth, obviously, put Sweet Tooth back in it. You got a great cast of characters now. I think it's time to use them. I think that would be that's a pie in the sky. I don't think it's happening. The other one I was kind of thinking about, but I just don't think it's effing possible at this point, is like Lou mentioned this to me, and I just don't think it's possible, is the God of War 2 reveal. And I just don't think that's possible at this point. I just don't see it.
It could also be. I'm going by the rumors that we've heard recently.
Yeah.
Could also be Silent Hill.
That is huge. That's a one for sure. Wow. That rumor's been floating around for a long time.
Yeah.
Not a long time, for a while. It was supposed to be at the Sony showcase, right? We heard rumors that Final Fantasy 16 was supposed to be at the showcase. We talked about the rumor last week that it's probably going to be a PlayStation exclusive, at least for a year. Final Fantasy 16. I'm assuming Silent Hill would have some exclusivity, because supposedly it's PlayStation Studio, PlayStation Japan making it, right? With
Yes.
Team
Yes.
Siren making it. And if you guys don't know who Team Siren is in the Siren games, Team Siren made the original Silent Hill games. So it's like a match made in heaven. So this would technically be a reboot. I'm with Lou. That would be big. It could be Silent Hill. I could see that. And I don't think that's a pie in the sky. I think that's an actual realistic possibility right there. Silent Hill, that would be huge. Maybe it's another... Maybe it's Silent Hills from Kojima? Maybe? I don't know. Kojima's supposedly working on a bunch of games.
The article also mentioned it was multiplayer. So the first thing that came to my mind when when we talked about it last night, when I actually sat down and read the article, I sent it in a group chat, but I had a lot of other things that I was doing.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought about was SOCOM.
Yeah. What if SOCOM's coming back? And what if it's Guerrilla Studios? We know Guerrilla Studios is working on a because they hired some Rainbow Six Siege guys, some of the heads of Rainbow Six there. Their studio's big now. They can make 2 games at the same time. And we talked about this last time that Sony basically all their studios can make 2 games at the same time now. They have one game that comes out and then the rest go help on that final game, finish it up while they start another game. That could be big. What if it's SOCOM? I know SOCOM's not a first-person shooter. What if SOCOM was coming back? The article did mention multiplayer. Shout out to Lou for remembering that. It could be. It could be SOCOM. That'd be huge. I don't think it'll be another Killzone. I don't think Guerrilla's doing another Killzone game. I think they moved on from Killzone. I think Killzone's done. I think Infamous is done. I think a lot of these franchises you guys want to see. I don't think permanently. I just think it's going to take some time before they come back. And they might be outsourced and done by another studio, if you know what I'm saying.
It could also be Bloodborne 2. So that could be another thing.
I wanted to say Bloodborne 2, but I just don't think that's possible because Miyazaki's working on Elden Ring, and that game was supposed to be this year, right? March or April?
Yes. Yes, you're right.
We haven't seen fucking anything about it. So they're obviously pushing it back for next gen.
I'm throwing out ideas with multiplayer. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a multiplayer game.
Yes. What about this one? Sony San Diego has a secret studio, right? They're not just playing some baseball. What else are they doing, Lou?
Oh, they're working on the next Uncharted, right?
What if that's the secret game? Launch game.
That could be. I don't know if that was it. I think there would have been more. There would have been more buzz of it, coming close to a reveal. Mm-hmm. I at least haven't seen anything.
They've been working on it for 2+ years now.
Yes.
We just don't know what the game is. We don't know if it's Uncharted. Just a lot of people have just said it's Uncharted because a lot of Naughty Dog and Rockstar developers went there.
But that would be huge.
Be a new IP.
Yeah, that would be huge, and would have been a cool launch to have Uncharted with Halo.
Yeah,
but
the last time was with PS3, right?
Yep.
Uncharted 1.
Uncharted 1, yep.
Uncharted 1 was the launch title. I got MotorStorm with my PS3. And then my buddy had Resistance, and I played that later, and I love that. I wish Resistance would come. Insomniac, bring Resistance back, please. Favor from me. Favor from me. And also, bring back, what was another platform that we love to bring back? Bring back Jak and Daxter. Bring back that one. Bring that.
That would be cool.
All right, the final story today. Let us know down below what you guys, the secret reveal is. We gave out I think, we did some couple pie in the size, but I think most of them were pretty head on. It could potentially be Uncharted, Silent Hill, SOCOM. It could be any of these. I think those are a real possibility, those 3. And I'm going to give credit to Lou. He nailed it on the head there. Make it Twisted Metal.
That would be nice. I would love that.
All right, so this final one, it has to do with the beta. The Marvel's Avengers beta that just happened, but the beta just launched today, free. Go download it on your PS4 or your Steam, your PC or your Microsoft Windows, Microsoft account, your Xbox. Go download it. Go play Marvel's Avengers Beta this weekend. We're hoping to capture some more gameplay, some 4-player gameplay with Lou here and JJ and Seth. Shout out to my cousins. Love you all. But this leaked data miners, man. Data miners, the envy of all game developers right now. But they found these characters in the updates. They found Captain Marvel, War Machine, She-Hulk, Peter Parker, which tells me that Spider-Man, you're going to see him first as Peter Parker, and then he's going to transform, like in a cutscene or something, into Spider-Man when he launches. And then Kate Bishop. If you don't know who Kate Bishop is, there's a TV show, there's a Marvel Cinematic Universe TV show for Disney Plus coming out with Hawkeye. Clint Barton. I forgot the actor's name. I'm forgetting his name. Jeremy Renner, and it has to do with Kate Bishop. Because in the comics, Hawkeye passes on his bow to Kate Bishop. So she's a female Hawkeye. So these characters are leaked, quote unquote, in the beta. We'll be interested to see if there's any more. What do you think of that roster list? And are you concerned?
I think the roster list. I think it's good. I don't think it's real good. But I think it's good.
You heard. He doesn't think it's really good, but he thinks it's good.
My concern is the meaning to the overall story that they're gonna represent. That they're gonna present. Excuse me. So that is my concern. Are they just gonna be thrown in like a Smite guard? If people didn't play Smite, the gods just get thrown in. Or are they gonna be part of the overall story or whatever's gonna happen?
The next part of the story, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's my bet is, like, this overall 10 to 15 hour story, these new characters probably won't have any effect on it. It'll be the next arc, whatever it's going into space or whatever they're going to do. They're going to have a side story.
Whatever they're doing at the time. Yeah. So I assume whatever they're doing at the time. I know it's not going to do any. They're not going to be involved with what's going on right now.
Yeah, but, you're just hoping there's some effing story, right?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that there's going to be something to them, and it's just not a little mini story, and then they're just playable.
My biggest concern is that these are clone characters. War Machine's Iron Man. She-Hulk is Hulk. Kate Bishop is, Hawkeye, which we're getting. Hawkeye was already announced, right? Doesn't mean in the comics these characters are very different, but I'm just talking in the scope of the game. That I'm hoping they play a lot differently and they have unique movesets. Because Spider-Man's hella different than all these people. Like, Spider-Man is way different. Obviously, he's going to feel way different. But, I don't know, in the beta, I played as Hulk. I played as Iron Man. And I haven't played as Hawkeye because he's not out yet. But, that's what worries me. Captain Marvel, potentially, that'd be a new character. Expected, obviously. She's supposed to be heading MCU, the second half of the MCU, which is a scary, scary thought. Scary thought. I just have to put that out there. I know we haven't done like any movie reviews recently and stuff. It's just, theaters have been shut down, guys. There hasn't been any new movies. There might be one for New Mutants, though. Because I heard the theaters are open for New Mutants, so I might go see that one.
AMC's doing that. I saw it online. They're going to revert back to 1920 prices for their first day of opening.
Yeah, like 30 cents or something, yeah.
15 cents or something.
Yeah, like really cheap, which is dope. But
yeah.
We might have a spoiler cast on New Mutants. That movie was thrown away for a long time. They were just holding on to it. It's been done for a long, long effing time. But then Fox got bought by Disney, so that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of processing. If you got Disney Plus, as you can see, they're putting X-Men movies and Fantastic Four on Disney Plus now. is because they're going to incorporate all these characters to the MCU soon. You know, reboot them anyway. There's been a lot of interesting thoughts about it. But you guys go play the beta. Go play it right now. Go download it. Go play it. Go stream it. Go have some fun. Lou and I are going to try to play it as well on stream later tonight. I'm going to try to boot up a stream in maybe 30 minutes to an hour. We're 3 trophies away from the plat for Far Cry 3. So it's probably going to be a short stream, anywhere from 3 to 5 missions. But we'll probably go boot up a stream. I want to thank Joel, Savage, Shannon, everybody that was in the chat. I want to appreciate everybody that smashes the hell out of the like button on this video. Comment down below of all your thoughts down below about Halo Infinite. What do you expect the PS5 secret game reveal is going to be? Oh no, leaving Capcom if you're a big fighting game fan. And all these new Avengers characters. Do these interest you at all? If you're on the fence, go play the beta. We got a lot of people invested here in GG and Friends that are going to play it, so you're going to see a lot of streams of it. And the beta did wonders for it because people are talking about it like crazy. Plus, the Spider-Man exclusivity did a lot for it as well. I want to give a shout-out to Lou as well. Appreciate him being on the pod. I hope you had fun today, bro.
Yep. It was a blast.
We were hoping to get you a Nintendo Direct as well this week, but it didn't happen. If it happens next week, we'll do a live reaction. We'll have a pod after the DC fandom, because we'll also do a live reaction of the DC fandom as well. So next week, we'll probably get you a pod if things go well. We're going to see the Suicide Squad game. They're hosting a panel with Will Arnett, Lego Batman himself. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how much video footage they're going to show. Probably not much. It's been really quiet on the Court of Owls front, but supposedly it's supposed to be revealed there too. So I'm guessing on this panel they're going to talk mostly about the Suicide Squad, and at the end of the panel they show Court of Owls. Maybe. Which is not the name of, it's just the story that Batman game is based off. So I just keep calling it that because that's what it is. But it's not the actual name. But please go smash the like button. Again, shout out to Skip, to my Lou. Appreciate his time. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat. I hope you guys enjoyed your time. I'm going to go try to relax for a little bit. Get some refreshments. Maybe eat really quick. And then we're going to be back on the Twitch. And we're going to platinum Far Cry 3. I've been your fellow Straussman of the GG. Lou, we're outie.